Hello Math B students. Hopefully you've made some progress on your POMs, making your cool graph pictures. Just as a reminder, if you haven't done anything, this is what your screen's going to look like. Hopefully you've been able to sign in like I have here. And this is where you open your graphs. Now I have my completed one that I've shown you before here called Airplane. Yours is going to be titled POM, and whatever kind of design or picture you want to name it is fine, but make it very obvious that it is your POM. So you're going to name it POM. And then you open up that graph, and as you can see, this is my completed picture. It doesn't look like I have a whole lot here, but the reason I have these things actually compact like this, where I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines, is it actually, if you look at your instructions for the module, the handout that I gave you, on the back on the rubric, you'll actually see that the very first thing, the first 10 points, is I want you to organize it into these categories: 4 horizontal lines, 4 vertical lines, 2 parallel lines, 2 perpendicular lines, 6 other lines, and then on the rubric it says 2 lines or shapes of your choice, and I just said 2 or more because when I click on that you can see I have a whole bunch. Okay, so this video's purpose is really just to show you how to organize your drawing, all the equations, into these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories, which is going to make it so I can grade it efficiently. And if you don't do this, I'm automatically going to take a point off for making me have to work harder to find all the answers. So again, this is all on the back of your rubric, so you don't need to remember this or memorize it, but these are the titles for the 6 categories. I'm going to show you how to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go to a blank graph here and show you how to do it. So the first thing you need to do is create a folder. And the folder is just going to be titled what you want. So 4 horizontal lines. Okay, so now there's obviously no horizontal lines on this. So when you start actually creating a horizontal line, like for example y equals 2, there's your horizontal line. Now let's say I draw another one that's y equals 2x plus 1. Well, obviously that's not a horizontal line, that's a diagonal line with a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of 1. Now, let me just make up a few more. X equals 3, y equals negative 1/2 x plus 1, and y equals 2x plus 3, and x equals negative 1. Okay, so now I have a bunch of lines, and obviously this doesn't make any pattern or drawing, but now I just want to organize it. So now, of these lines, only one of them is a horizontal line, and it's this one. And remember, when you click on a line, it actually kind of highlights which line it is that you're clicked on. So this is a horizontal line, so I want to put this in the folder. So what you do is I'll show you how it looks. See how this folder is kind of not selected? If I do that, I have that one line in there. So now I'm going to close that, or kind of deselect it. Now I don't have any other horizontal lines on in my list of equations. Well, what else do I have? Well, this is a diagonal line, and another one, and another one, and these two, of course, are vertical lines. So I'm going to create another folder right now to put the vertical lines in. 4 vertical lines. Okay, so now that I have that folder, I can say, oh, this guy right here is a vertical line, and of course it disappears from the list, but it doesn't really actually disappear. It just goes into this folder. So right now I have that one horizontal line in that folder and those 2 vertical lines in that folder. Now what about these? Well, maybe you recognize that I happen to choose this line and this line that have the same slope. Well, what do we know about lines that are the same slope? Well, of course they're parallel. You need to actually create a folder for that too, as the rubric says. So you put 2 parallel lines. Now I can then drag that one in there into that folder along with that one. So now, in that folder, two parallel lines, I have the ones that have the same slope but a different y-intercept, and they're in that folder. Now, let me go back open here, and notice that I have negative 1/2 and positive 2x, negative 1/2 x and positive 2x. Well, if you remember from last module, these have opposite reciprocal slopes, so of course those are lines that are perpendicular. So now I'm going to create a folder for those perpendicular lines, because you have to have two of those as well. Two perpendicular lines. Now, what if I only have this one pair right here that are perpendicular to each other? Well, that is two lines that are perpendicular. Well, you don't need to create another line. You can actually duplicate a line and use the same one in the folder. So since this one right here is going to be one of my perpendicular lines, and it's perpendicular with either one of those two, what you can do is you can actually edit your list, and either one of these is perpendicular to this line because their slopes are opposite reciprocals. So if you click on that, it says duplicate, it makes the same line. So it doesn't change your drawing at all, but what it does, it allows me to do then, if you click done, it allows me then to just drag this into the perpendicular folder, and then when I open it as your teacher and I'm grading it, I'm like, oh, look, clearly those are perpendicular because I'm looking for opposite reciprocal slopes. And now look how clean everything is here. So again, when you have lines, you don't need to create new ones to match all these different categories. You don't need 4 horizontal lines. You don't need to make 4 new ones if you have 4 of them are horizontal. You can just, again, duplicate it. So when you go to edit list and you duplicate it, now this one has a slider, so that one's a bad example, but basically any line that you want to duplicate, you can go ahead and just click on the line and it will be able to duplicate, and you won't have to create a new line to match your criteria. Okay, I hope this helps. Good luck.